What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We're back with another episode of Best Bets, where we keep you away from a bad bet, try to lead you to the best bet. Today we're taking a look at a light heavyweight matchup, second fight on this week's fight night card. We're taking a look at Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Karl Roberson, and we're going to try and decide from their past fights and performances who's the better guy to bet on, and if there's any props or things out there to look for that might lead you to make a little money against the sportsbook. If you enjoy this kind of content with combat sports, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Big thing that's going to come down to play into this contest is the fact that Kennedy holds 4 inches in height and over 8 inches in reach. Kennedy is the much bigger fighter in this fight, and as that may be, with both guys grappling being very limited, this is going to be predominantly a stand-up affair. And with that in mind, Kennedy opens up at a big favorite. He opened up at -125. Roberson himself opened up at +105. And at this point, both guys have shifted towards where they were already. Kennedy is an even bigger favorite at -146 and Roberson at +115. But the odds don't always tell the whole story, so let's take a look first at Karl Roberson. Karl Roberson's a former Glory kickboxer whose striking is obviously the bread and butter of his game, and he's been on a really tough run of fights recently, coming into this fight on a 3-loss streak. We'll start by having a look at his last fight against fellow striker Khalil Rountree. I'm going to try and focus my efforts here on his striking fights because I really doubt Kennedy is going to go for many takedowns or submissions. We really want to see if Roberson has a chance in the striking department, so it's a good place to start is his last fight with Khalil Rountree. The fight started with both guys throwing real heavy. Roberson has a lot of kicks in his game. Glory kickboxing, he probably gets it from there would be my guess, but nonetheless, body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks, they all come very, very heavily, whether it was to the body or to the legs. Again, a lot of force. Big warning sign from this fight, however, was the back half of the first round. It appeared like the heavy strikes, like the leg kicks, like the body kicks, or big overhand rights off of Khalil coming in, did wear a lot on Roberson, and between rounds, he appeared extremely tired, and quickly following the first round, Rountree walked out, landed on the end of a 1-2-3 before swarming and ultimately finishing this fight. In my opinion, Rountree hits a lot harder than Kennedy does, so I'm a little less worried about the big shot coming, but the energy depletion from the first round and as quick as it happened does make me worry big time for Roberson, who's going to be striking up in this fight. Can Roberson land an overhand right or a big head kick? Maybe, but to bet on that is a little bit risky. From here, we'll move on to his other fights. In 2017, Roberson took on Darren Stewart in his UFC debut. This was probably one of the more impressive fights on Roberson's side. This fight showed the bright side of his striking especially, and his takedowns, to be honest with you. I think this is why I give Roberson a little bit of an edge in the grappling. With it, elbows and knees from the clinch here. Roberson, very, very nasty. He is a nasty guy with the knees and stuff. He's very, very skilled in all the positions of the striking. Again, developed from a Glory kickboxing career. That is something to look at. But nonetheless, here he actually wins the fight via submission. It's actually a pretty nice throw takedown. But nonetheless, Roberson, he comes to the game with a lot of striking. That's predominantly his game. But again, the grappling could possibly be there. Little mention from the Brendan Allen fight. Before getting this fight to the ground and ultimately winning via submission on the Allen side, Allen actually did land a similar combination as Khalil Rountree did when he won the fight. But instead, he doubled up his jab and landed a cross right striker. But he isn't the perfect striker. He does get caught, especially when he's on his back foot, and especially, even more especially, when he is tired. Overall, on the Roberson side, I'm interested to see how Roberson deals with the height and reach disadvantage. I think the kicks are going to come in handy for him, the leg kicks, the body kicks, stuff like that, whilst he still needs to avoid cardio issues. Striking at the taller guy, I know he's going to be looking for that power hand to try and drop or hurt Kennedy, but again, it's going to be dangerous to do, because it's going to be harder to hit him and he's going to have to give more of an output, whereas Kennedy is going to be throwing straight down the barrel with 1-2s, probably going to try and keep Roberson on the back foot. But nonetheless, we can move on to take a look at Kennedy Nzechukwu. So starting with Kennedy, I started on the Carlos Ulberg fight. This was a real weird fight in my opinion. It's hard to break down Kennedy's style from this fight alone. He was defending himself hard, but again, Carlos also very tall, lengthy, basically no reach or height disadvantage in this fight from watching it. Carlos looked like the better striker early, by far the better striker early. But as he started to hit Kennedy and Kennedy wasn't going down, he started to wear a little bit of the strikes that he was outputting early on in that first round. Carlos won the first round. Then in the second round and late first round, they were both striking real well. It's hard to really get a idea of how this fight is going to go, man. I really want to see Kennedy versus a smaller guy. Kennedy does hit hard, as we saw from the knockout in this Ulberg fight. That was a real nasty right hand, but he likes to defend up, walk forward. I don't know if he sees many of the strikes that he's throwing sometimes with the way that he defends. It looked like Carlos could pick whatever shot he wanted at some points, just backing him up. But once Kennedy, again, we'll move on from this fight, go on to his most recent loss, his first knockout loss ever. Again, he came in hot after 9 fights, never got knocked out, and then he fought this guy and got KO'd. So let's have a look at this one. Jung came into this fight riding 13 straight wins, and it really ended up just being Kennedy not ready for this level, this elite of a striker. Jung caught on to Kennedy's defensive tendencies very quick into this fight and was able to pierce through on the right side with a nasty elbow, and from there put this fight away pretty quickly. Again, a little bit worrisome the way Kennedy defends some of these strikes, but against Karl Roberson, again, smaller, I think Kennedy has the advantage. So when I'm breaking down this fight, I am rolling with Kennedy to win this fight. I do have money on it. I did decide to put in 3/4 of a unit here. Not super confident. Again, it's a very close fight, but I do like the Kennedy side, and at -146, feels like -200. I think like just from the height advantage, both guys are strikers. I think from the height difference here, I think he's at least warranted -200, -220, but at this number, I'm going to take him. You guys let me know what you think in that comment section below. Am I making a bad bet? You guys can save me down there if you think I am. But nonetheless, that'll wrap up this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.